Hey guys, Ryan here for Bender Wins. Hope everyone's doing well today. Here with another daily free picks episode for you guys. So we have a busy day today. Before we get into it, guys, I wanted to acknowledge, obviously, everyone's been talking about it, guys, the loss of Kobe Bryant. It's a huge loss, not only for the sport, but if you know much about him, you know he was a humanitarian, he was a great person. And it's really sad. I mean, Kobe Bryant was my Michael Jordan in a sense, really. I mean, I was too young to appreciate Michael Jordan, but I certainly grew up watching Kobe Bryant play. And yeah, I mean, I'll look back obviously in fond memory of all those great games he played in, amazing series. And when they start to flash up his stats, like all the All-Star games and the championships and everything, I mean, you really realize just how great he actually was. So I was very shocked when I heard it. It was kind of, in disbelief, to be honest with you. But yeah, very, very, very sad. And he'll be missed. And I think the NBA has done a fantastic job in showing respect, all the players, everything like that. They've really kind of come together and just shown how much of a class act they can be. So yeah, you'll be missed, Kobe. But yeah, so before I get into today's video, guys, I know I didn't have a video for the last couple days. Just side FYI, I might actually do some live streaming here, but I won a satellite entry into the Fallsview Classic poker tournament in Niagara Falls next month. So I took a couple days and I just went and I played some poker. I'm a little bit rusty. I used to play poker a ton, but I rarely play anymore. So I took a few days, stayed at the casino, played poker for a little bit, and just to get back in the swing of things. So I wasn't bailing or I didn't disappear on you guys, but just was playing a bit of cards. So couple things that people messaged me that I just want to quickly cover before we get into today's picks. So the first one, I guess there's kind of two schools of thought on this. This is about live game betting to try and middle a game. So basically what middling a game means is that, let's say you took a team that was an 8-point underdog, okay? So they're an 8-point underdog, and let's say they get out to an early lead. Now, all of a sudden, the other team becomes only a 2-point favorite. So in essence, there's now 6 points between where you were and where you can now get a bet. So what middling is basically now you bet the other side, and you can't possibly lose both sides, but you could win both. So on the surface, it sounds very appealing. The reason why I somewhat advise against it, and I use the word somewhat because there are times and places for it. But if you like the game enough to bet it early on in the beginning, has enough changed that you now see value betting the other side, or you may be letting greed get the best of you and you're just trying to win two bets? Because really, if you lose the one bet, sure, you can't lose both, but in essence, it is in a way costing you your original bet, where you could have been up a unit. Now really you're just even, and it doesn't feel like a loss in that sense because you didn't really lose, but technically you did. So I would say that there is a time and a place to try and middle a game if you can, you get a large enough spread where it makes sense for you to do it. But on the flip side, you have to have a lot of information that would allow that to be, a profitable bet. So, certainly you'd want to pay attention to the rhythm of the game, especially in basketball. Basketball definitely has an ebb and a flow to it. So, but for the most part, I would say don't try and middle games. Just, go with who you were confident in the beginning and ride it through. But, it's certainly not every situation. So, the one other thing that someone asked me and brought up, and is a really good question, do I look for back-to-back NBA? And absolutely I do. And in fact, a lot of my NBA systems are based on back-to-back games. And I do have one today that is based on back-to-back games as well. But playing back-to-back games in the NBA is difficult. And it's much more difficult now even than it was just a few years ago. Teams are much more athletic. They're aware of the fact that you guys, that the other team is basically playing back-to-back games. And yes, Vegas does compensate a little bit for that, but it's one of the big things the public misses. The public, for the most part, will miss the fact that a team is on a back-to-back, and just it looks like a great line to them, they jump on it. When in often cases, not only is the team tired, but the other team probably has value because the public is being coerced into betting the wrong way. Whether it's just an attractive line or maybe an outright trap line. The other thing that I like to look for in back-to-back games is those are the games where I find a lot of value in large underdogs sometimes. So, when you're seeing underdogs that are, 7, 8, 9, 10-point underdogs, those are the games that you can kind of focus in on. And if you see an advantage, you might be able to pick up a really nice plus 200 or higher money line play on those games. Because they are typically the games that come in more often. So something to look out for, guys. But if you're first getting started in betting NBA basketball, keep an eye out for teams on back-to-back and look for advantages and ways that you can get a bet against them. So anyways, guys, without further ado, I'm going to get into today's picks. All right, guys, so we're going to jump into this now. So I think I mentioned before, but last time I had picks out to you guys, we went 2-4, but we lost both our 2-unit plays. So looking for a big bounce back today. I have 4 super system plays for you guys. I have a play in the NBA, and I have 2 other college basketball plays for you guys as well. All right, so I'm going to get started off in the NBA here. First game, guys, is we have Phoenix is playing against Dallas. All right, now Phoenix is getting, now it's early on, so it's very early on in the betting, to really rely on the money distribution, but the early money has been 25% of bets on Phoenix, but 64% of money. And as I've said to you guys in the past, the early money, is not as reliable as sharp moves or reverse line moves, but the early money is typically professional or more seasoned bettors. So a little bit more reliable, but we don't have that large sample size. But either way, guys, 25% of bets, 64% of money on Phoenix in this game. Now I have 3 indicators. One of the really nice indicators I have is visiting dogs that are getting 1 to 4 days rest against an opponent on a back-to-back. So here's where I mentioned I would talk about back-to-back games. So we have a visiting underdog, okay, 1 to 4 days rest versus a team that is on a back-to-back. Now that's your primer. The other thing you're looking for is you want the team on the back-to-back to have covered the spread in their last game. And you want your team not to have covered the spread. So when that is the case, that comes in at 57.4%. Good for an 11.6% ROI, guys. So you want your team to be rested. You want the other team playing back-to-back. The team that's playing back-to-back covered the night before, but the last time your team played, they didn't cover. 57.4% that wins that, guys. So we are going to be taking Phoenix plus 6 in this game. It's already come down from 6.5, but we're going to be taking Phoenix plus 6. All right, I'm going to jump into, I have 4 college basketball super system plays for you guys. The first game is going to be Kent and Toledo. So Kent and Toledo, we're going to be going under 148 in that game. Kent and Toledo under 148. Next game, guys, we have Georgia and Missouri. So Georgia and Missouri, we are going to be going under 140. So Georgia, Missouri, under 140 points. Next game, Pittsburgh and Duke. So Pittsburgh, Duke, basketball super system. We are going to be going under 137.5 in this game. Under 137.5 for Pittsburgh and Duke. And the last play in the college basketball super system is we have Purdue and Rutgers. So this line opened up at 120. And initially at 120, it was a super system play, but wasn't a huge fan of where that line was, because to be honest, I thought it was set low. And obviously the sharps thought it was low too. So they immediately bet on that, and it shot that line up to 124. Now, since it went up to 124, now we are seeing some money come in now on the under, because the sharps got that value. I mean, they hit that really, really hard right away. So when they hit that really hard, it immediately shot from 120 up to 123 up to 124. And now that the dust has settled at 124, like, that's just Vegas panicking and saying, okay, we got this line way wrong. So they shoot that line way up. But now they shot up 4 points. They've probably created a situation where they've created value the other way. Now, because it's a super system play, we love seeing those additional points. And now at 120, wasn't a huge fan, but at 124, I do like it, guys. So we're going to be taking Purdue and Rutgers to go under 124. So Purdue and Rutgers to go under 124. Okay, so I said I have two more college basketball plays for you guys. The first one, guys, we have Fresno against Air Force. So Fresno against Air Force. Now there's early steam bet that has come in on Fresno. So there's already steam on Fresno. As well, I have three system indicators all pointing to Fresno. So in this game, guys, we are going to take Fresno at plus 3 points. All right, so Fresno plus 3 points. And finally, guys, one more game for you guys. Michigan and Nebraska. So Michigan, Nebraska, two system indicators in this game. As well, we have two teams that are struggling right now. Nebraska, I think, has lost four in a row or 5 in a row, and Michigan's lost at least 3 in a row. So they're both struggling, but just by and large, in terms of a well-rounded team, Michigan is that more well-rounded team. And although on the surface, at plus 4, Nebraska might look like good value, I really think that this is Vegas setting a line up and trying to get people on the wrong side, which early on it's pretty close in the money distribution, but a little bit more on Nebraska, which I think is, again, public perceiving value that, in my opinion, is not there. So we're going to be taking Michigan minus 4 in this game. So just a really quick recap for you guys. Michigan minus 4. We are going to go Fresno plus 3. Purdue and Rutgers under 124. Pittsburgh and Duke to go under 137.5. Georgia, Missouri to go under 140. Kent and Toledo under 148. And we are going to take Phoenix in the NBA getting plus 6 points. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all your support and everything. Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And as always, guys, have a very lucky day.